It's a humdinger of a day, guys, but it's a hot one. One of the best ways I know to beat this summer heat is to use my All-American Sun Oven. So as you see, it's up to about 275 degrees, and I'm just repositioning it periodically to line up with the sun. Well, welcome YouTube friends and family to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. Y'all, it's a hot one. So it is currently upper 80s. We're forecast to be in the 90s today. Thankfully, the humidity is not too bad. And if you hear kind of a cranking noise in the background, I do have my kitchen ceiling fan on just to kind of cool me down a little bit. And I also do not have the overhead light on. So if the lighting seems a little bit different, that would be why. So this morning, I thought, the perfect thing would be to use my sun oven. And I had thought out some marinated chicken, and I'm working on a little short so you'll know exactly what was in there, with some root vegetables and other veg in the bottom. It's a 2-layer pot. And it's just so nice. Like every half an hour I go out, I adjust the sun oven, and there's absolutely zero heat in the house. So I very much appreciate not further raising my electric bill and also further putting more heat into the house, which just makes my air run more. So I thought, I need to kind of take a look and see what do I have on hand, because we're going to have an early harvest year this year where I live in Ohio. I kind of live in central, southwest, really southwest Ohio. And my garden is ahead of any year. And I've been gardening off and on for about 42 years. So it's further ahead than it's ever been. And there should be a lot of you pick opportunities. I hope to take you all along next week for a fun one. For some fruits, and also I'm sure the Amish auction and various road stands will be open early this year. So I thought, let me kind of take a look, go through my refrigerator, go through my freezer, and I am loving just marinating the meat. And I'm using these little baggie holders. I'll try to link them below. They really do save dumping it all over. I had purchased a 60-pack of the double zipper great value bags, and I just actually went through my freezer. I pulled out things that I'm always like, yeah, don't want that, and I thought, you know what, let's just create, and this is all out of my head, y'all. Let's create some fun marinades. Let's pull out what we might have on the shelf and just make some neat stuff. So the first thing that I am so remiss about using, and it's not because they're bad, I just haven't used them, are the Butcher Box wild caught Alaskan salmon. I love salmon, but I was like, well, what can I do with that? So I did find, y'all, I've got a lot of stuff out here. I don't have any fresh limes, but I have some lime juice. I have some dill, and I thought, well, let's do a lime and dill. And then let's also do a spicy lemon garlic. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to put them together. I'm going to try to show you maybe half a dozen or so different marinades that you might use. Now, these are frozen. Can you marinate frozen meat? You absolutely can, because when you put it in your fridge the day before to thaw, the meat upon thawing will really marinate very, very well. And I've tried this over and over, and it really works. And it's so easy before you go to bed at night, figure out, okay, do I want fish, do I want chicken, or whatsoever you have, and just put one in your fridge. And usually I eat my dinner pretty early, like 2-3 in the afternoon. It's ready to go. It's completely thawed. If not, you could always use the cold water method because your bag is sealed. So let me get organized here, and we'll get to making some marinated meats for our freezer so that we can cook in the sun oven or out on the 3-burner stove this summer and avoid putting heat in the house and thus raising my electric bill.
Stay tuned.
All right, y'all, just a couple tips. It's a little easier if you write on your bags what you're making first. Helps you keep track of your recipes, but the bag will get cold if you're using, you know, chilled or frozen items. So we're gonna start out here with the lime dill salmon, and I'm just gonna give it a generous squeeze of lime juice. Now, if y'all are looking for exact recipes, let me just share with you. You will not find them here. But out online, there are a million ideas. And this is just a little bit of olive oil. And let's see, we're gonna put some dill in as well. So what I like to do, because I don't want so much marinade that I'm wasting ingredients, I just like to figure out how much meat I want per bag. And in this case, I put 4 pieces of salmon, which could be 2 to 4 servings, just depending on the piece of actual salmon. And then I can adjust my marinade to kind of, you know, match how much meat. And then I'm not wasting each time. So what I like to do is get as much of the air out as you possibly can. So I seal the bag like 3/4 of the way. And then this is a little tricky because this salmon is hard, but then go ahead and flip it all the way over and then seal it. And here we have, doesn't that look delicious already? We have some lemon dill. And I'm gonna do a few and then we'll pop them in the freezer. So next I'm gonna do the lemon garlic. Now y'all don't judge my lemons. They're looking pretty sad. And these happen to be seedless lemons, but I love citrus flavors with my fish. If you're not a huge fan of fish, you might find that if you add a little bit of citrus, we have a garbage compost bucket over here, you might like it better if you do put some citrus in. So I'm gonna be pretty generous only because I have 2 lemons that absolutely need to be used. So a lot of times when I am trying to use up what I have on hand, and again, do a bit of a grocery challenge because fresh item season is upon us, I will just go through and take an inventory. I cleaned out the fridge this morning, kind of see what I have, and based on that is what marinades that I actually make. And y'all, I apologize in advance. I'm gonna do a little olive oil. All of these will have a little bit of olive oil. You could use vegetable oil. You can use, you know, whatever you prefer. What was I gonna apologize for? Oh well, it'll come to me. So I do wanna put just, I wanna kick this up just a little bit. So I am going to use some of my spicy red pepper flakes, and it is actually called gochugaru. You can purchase this on Amazon, but let me tell y'all, you can blow yourself up with it. So take note. So here we have our second marinade. And the reason I like to, oh, I know what I was gonna apologize for. Sometimes I say marinate instead of marinade and vice versa. I know the difference between the 2 words, but I sometimes don't say them right. So here we have our spicy lemon garlic salmon. I keep wanting to call it chicken. Now I went ahead and put another package of salmon in here. So I have 4 pretty good sized fillets. And I want to do something that's a little bit Asian inspired. So I was thinking like, okay, what do I have that's Asian? And I have a few things. So I have some rice vinegar. I have liquid aminos, which is, it is an all-purpose seasoning. It is soy, but it's one that I can have. I can also use tamari, which is a gluten-free soy sauce as well. I think I'm gonna go big and I'm gonna use the tamari. Gluten plus soy is a huge issue for me. A little bit of soy will not be such a huge issue. So for this, I'm gonna start with some tamari. And you may notice also, y'all, I do not put any salt or pepper in any of my meat marinades. And the reason for this is personal preference. If you want to salt and pepper, you can. I would prefer to do it when I cook. Let's see. I thought I had sesame. Oh, now I do have sesame oil, which is going to give it that Asian flair. I will tell you all, too much of this you will not care for. Most people do not care for it because it can get really overpowering. So that was probably like a tablespoon for 4 servings. Pardon me, I have to sneeze. Alrighty then, feel much better. I'm also gonna add a little bit of ground ginger. So I do add spices, I just try not to add a lot of salt. I'm gonna add some Asian vinegar or mirin rice vinegar, and this will help just make things very nice and tender. Again, I'm gonna put a bit of oil in here. And let's see, I have some fresh ginger, but I think I'm gonna save that for the chicken. So I have to tell you all, this smells like Asian amazing. I also have this I wanted to use. This is from the Bamboo Chef. It's an Asian cuisine seasoning. Now I do think this has a bit of salt, but not a ton. So we'll just give it a little bit of this and that. So as you gain experience with these different combinations and flavors that you and your family like, you kind of judge, okay, that's enough liquid. Sometimes I over liquid it. Rarely do I under liquid it, but it can happen. So here we have another one all ready to go. So I'm gonna put my fish back in the freezer. It's still frozen rock hard. And I'm gonna start working on a little bit of chicken, and I need to grab a couple different ingredients for that. So I hope you'll stay tuned. All right, continuing on, we're gonna start some different chicken marinades. And the first one that I'm gonna do is totally dependent on what happens to be in my fridge that needs to be used up. And that was an orange and 1 remaining lemon. So I am just getting some of the peel off, the zest, if you will, to really add some flavor. And I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze everything I can out of 1 orange and 1 lemon. Amazing what you can get out of one piece of fruit. Smells amazing. And this might be the one that I have first. It just reminds me of summer, anything citrus. And y'all can use a squeezer. I have a squeezer, I just very rarely, if ever, use it. So now comes the lemon. Now, I am going to be using the biggest chicken breast that you've ever seen in your entire life that come from Butcher Box. And my preference would be to cut these down by half. I think that a big, thick chicken breast gets so dry on the outside before it gets done. So I prefer to cut them in half, but since they are frozen, I'm not gonna do that. Now, this is going to be a citrus and ginger. So I have washed the ginger, but I just chopped it. I am not going to peel it and go through all that because it will not get cooked or eaten. It's more for flavoring. I'm gonna add some powdered ginger along with it. It just goes really, really good together, y'all. Now, I have some Vidalia onions that I'm also working through. So I thought, I like citrus and onion. I know that sounds like a very odd combo, but take my word for it, y'all. It's pretty good when you get it all together and marinated, all in that same flavor profile. So I'm just gonna coarsely chop this. We'll add that to the bag. I am going to put, you'll notice I put oil in all of mine. It just helps it to penetrate into the meat. Now, y'all, this is what some of the Butcher Box chicken looks like. So, needless to say, this is many, many servings for me, you know, with sides, of course. And I'm just going to put them in as they are. This might be one that I would let marinate in the refrigerator for a little bit longer, just because of the size of the chicken breasts. So again, I'm gonna seal it about 3/4 of the way, kind of smoosh that all around. And even though it's frozen, trust me, when it thaws, it will marinate just as if it was not. So here's our beautiful citrus chicken. Let's go ahead and start making, y'all, I have a huge mess here. Another type of chicken. And again, I'm in the same position with these humongous chicken breasts. If anything, this is even more so. So I particularly enjoy honey mustard. And I thought, well, why not do like a honey mustard and garlic marinade? So here we go, guys. That is one of the chicken breasts. Now, obviously, my little bag holder is going to fall over. I'm sure when that thaws, it will separate into two. One of the things I don't like about Butcher Box is that even though they, you know, it's organic, hormone and antibiotic free, free range, chicken, it's humongous. All right, so that is one heavy bag. It's so heavy that the bag holder doesn't want to hold it. All right, that'll work, right? Let me wash the chicken off my hands here. Lots of hand washing going on. All right. Now, if you have been part of my channel for a long time, gifts from my kitchen, this Christmas, past Christmas, we did some cranberry mustard. And I thought, wow, a nice, grainy, spicy mustard would be really good. So here's what it looks like. This is a 4 ounce. And I'm just gonna go ahead, because of the volume of chicken that I have, and I'm gonna use the whole 4 ounces. If you have spicy brown, you could just use spicy brown. I'm just using what I have on hand. And then, also in that same series, we made hot honey. Y'all, it's so good. It does have chili flakes. Let me grab a spatula in it, but let me tell you what, it is really, really good. It's hot, but it's not, for me, it's not like killer hot or blow you up hot. All right. I actually think we could use a little bit more. I thought I got out another jar. I did. It's kind of precious, guys. I think this is my last jar, but that's okay because I made it to use. So yeah, this is a little more liquidy. So there we go. And then our typical olive oil. Woo! I licked my finger and that honey is hot. Wipe that off there. And then I'm gonna put some granulated garlic to go with, oops, a garlic glob, which we can just smash up. All right, so this one might be a little tougher to get sealed, but we can do it. don't know if we're gonna be able to get all this air out, but we're gonna try. The less air, the less you have to worry about freezer burn. But if these are my meals over the coming days in this heat, this is gonna be just perfect. Sorry, got the camera a little crooked. Let me clean up this humongous mess and I'll bring you back for some final thoughts about why you might want to make some freezer meat for 1 or 2. I hope you'll stay tuned. I hope you all have enjoyed those quick marinated freezer meals for 1 or 2. And in a matter, literally, y'all, of about 45 minutes, I prepared 6 double meals, I'll say, meals for at least 2, and some of those chickens I think will be a lot more, just using things that I have on hand. There are so many ideas out on the internet. If you like a certain flavor profile, if you want a tomato-based, like a chicken parm, using some pre-made mixes like ranch salad dressing. But I encourage you to go to your fridge, look at some of the flavor profiles of things you need to use up, and just put them together and give it a try. I think you'll be really glad that you did. Some of you may have noticed my videos are a little bit shorter. I am trying to work on quality, not quantity. And I want to give a big shout out and thank you to my good friend Jasper, who, if you've been on my channel for a while, y'all know Jasper. She's been helping me greatly with my thumbnails and some other things that I'm not good at all at. So thank you, Jasper. And yeah, she left me and moved to Vegas, but I'm really happy for her. So I will see you all a little bit later this week. I have a really fun video coming up that you aren't gonna wanna miss. It is a product that can be used in many, many different ways, but yet is natural, and I think and very economical. I think y'all will be interested. So I will see you all soon. Please do me a favor, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and smash that like button. Don't forget to drop me a comment below. What is your favorite flavor combo marinade to use on fish or chicken or maybe a beef type cut of meat? I'd be very interested to hear. All right, until I see you again, be healthy, be well, be blessed, take care.